Okay. Anybody feel very confused? Yes, you're confused. Right? Anyway, I don't know. This all the people come all the time, all senior students. You need to talk other many things. Anyway, everybody set up good motivation to benefit all sentience, Shiva enlightenment. Then we can start to test. And first, I would like to come questions. You that's homework. Not difficult, okay? When 남의 속에 새로 걸리죠. 그만큼 남의 속에 제가
So, Geshe-la's question is, what is the measure? The measure, or what do you call that? Is it measure?
Sure, you can say it.
Or what is the other word?
What delimits entrance to the path? Maybe?
Yeah, so what is the measure of having entered into the path? So how do you know, or what tells whether you have entered into the path or not?
The border, the line,
the border, yeah,
the
the
line
line
that you cross. Once you cross it, you are in the path.
That's right.
Which
Okay.
path?
Any
path.
Any path.
The path.
Any path. Okay?
Renunciation? Yeah, renunciation.
Okay. Good. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's right.
I got one right.
Right. So what is renunciation? Renunciation is a mind wishing to achieve liberation, right? So whenever you have that wish, wanting to be free from cyclic existence throughout day and night, at that time, then you have generated renunciation. And then how do you define whether it is the Mahayana path or Hinayana path? So you have generated renunciation and you have entered into the path, right? Now, what defines whether you have entered into a Mahayana path or a Hinayana path?
Okay.
What?
What did you do?
Mahayana is when you're striving for liberation for the sake of everybody else, for all sentient beings, not for yourself.
So, what do you call that mind? Bodhicitta, right? So, if the renunciation is conjoined with bodhicitta, then that becomes Mahayana path.
Okay.
If it is not conjoined with bodhicitta, then it becomes Hinayana path. right?
다 남라 쉬어라면서 니들이랑 라자기랑 다 대화주랑 말하는 거.
And so there are three different paths, right? Three different paths. What are they? Heroes?
Solitary realizing and
Mahayana. Yeah, that's right.
오케이. 다 근데 대화 쓰면서 그랬어.
So they usually call what? Three vehicles, right?
다 대화 쓰면서 깨우스면 제발 그래요. 대화 쓰면서 깨우스.
So is there a difference in three vehicles and three scopes?
가가도 다 깨우스 뭐 가만히 있나 남을 쉬고 그러고 말했어.
So if you are any of these three scopes, do you have to enter into a path?
그렇지. 다 대화 쓰면 가만히 있나 남을 쉬고 그러고 말했어.
What about if you are any of these three vehicles? Do you have to enter into a path? Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
For the vehicles? Yes?
I don't think so.
Because yes.
다시 대화 쓰면 가서 빠진 것도 다 남을 쉬고 그러고 다시 시작해야 되더라고.
You have to be, right? If you are in any of the three vehicles, you have to have enter into the path.
다 깨워서 뭐 가늘라 줘도 대화 좀 딱 남을 쉬고 말해서 좀 빼가시 왔어.
So you see, if you are
Give
in
children
any of
that
the three scopes,
Yeah.
if you are in any of these three scopes, you don't have to enter into the path, right? That's what you said. What is the example? Can you give an example? Being any of the three scopes and not having entered into a path.
Yeah.
Someone who's working for happiness of future lives, but not working toward liberation.
뭐다
Watch him.
대화시면 내손 말하고 제대 지금 손은 거 소소리가 되는 게 중요해서.
So someone, yeah, so someone who's just working for the welfare of the future life, just concerned about not, falling into the lower one. And for that reason, then you engage in a virtuous action.
이게 또 사동이 공부되는 얘네 아니 딱 내손 맞아야 제대 지금 소소 들어가지는 게 중요해서.
And aspiring to achieve the highest state of rebirth, such as human or God, and not to fall into the lower realm. And for that reason, you strive, to engage in a virtuous action, and that's called a small scope, right?
다 깨운 뒤에 가는 깨운 뒤에.
And the medium scope is what?
They have the renunciation.
야, 다때 파시 깨운 뒤에 파시 다 되고 있는 거로.
So yes.
그거 먹으러 가면 야, 레파노 탈라테 고마워 차이지가.
So generally yes, but if you really use the logic, maybe you don't need to have renunciation in order to be in a medium scope path.
그다. 간제 다 내소라 맞게 왔으면 배는 못 되고. 이게 또 하다면 고마도 되고 그 대가다 동안도 다 대래 다 더워 도고도. 나중에 고마도 도고도. 코알을 도고도. 근데 싸네. 속사 들어가지는 다 깨운지라고 그러고.
So usually, the small, medium scope is the being, who thinks that just being free from lower realm is not good enough. Just being, in the upper realm as human, or God is not enough not good enough because there still are many sufferings, and so therefore I need to free myself from the entire cycle existence, and then for that reason I'm going to engage in virtuous action. So that kind of being is called medium scope, right?
근데 이가 깨운지 니들도 안다 가려나 다 깨운지 남녀는 나한테 가려 잡세.
And so if it's either of these two, the heroes and surpassing others, then it's necessary to be, beings of the medium scope.
가나 그런 거 제대로 따지면 공통이에요.
And so they are striving, to achieve state of the arhatship, right?
그래. 다 되니걸로 어디 다 왔던 데나 심지어 탐정이 된다 따지면 공통도 그렇습니다. 다 니들한테 많이 잘 올라와.
And so, if that kind of mind, if you change it, to wishing to achieve state of arhatship for the benefit of all sentient beings, then it doesn't become the mind of heroes or surpassing others, right?
다 깨우 전부랑 다 다시 야 시전에 남주 거다 고스. 이나 깨우 친구 그놈 그게 가다가 다 남주 거고 말했을 때 나도 관계 깨우 친구 다 그놈 거요.
So in order to be Mahayanist, the Mahayana path, then you have to be someone who have entered into the path already, right? But someone who is carrying Mahayana motivation is not necessary to be, to have entered into a path, right? Carrying, but like we can have, even those of us who have not entered into a path can still carry the Mahayana motivation, right? So generally, yes. So generally, when you say in a great scope, it's necessarily someone who have entered into the path already. And so, but again, it depends on the motivation also, right? So, we can generate that kind of motivation. So therefore, we say, we are great scopes. Right?
Okay.
So when you have that kind of motivation,
간제 심지어 탐지기도 좀 상지 고마워. 대체다 지금 제대로다. 근데 지금 하면
so wishing to achieve the precious state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, and then for that reason engaging in virtuous action. It's called the great scope, right?
자주면 고마든나 고를 좋아해서 얘나야 단다라 아니 시도 봐야 말이야 단다 아니 그 빠도 말이다 시도 빠도 말이다 다 시도도 빠고 도 심지어 탐지기도 시도도 마봐나 배우면 되었어 다양한 세주대 nomadic church 말이야.
So the arhats of the heroes and soul realizers, they have abandoned cycle existence. They have abandoned deluded obstructions, but then they haven't abandoned the obstruction to knowledge. And it says, in order to benefit all sentient beings, you have to abandon the obstruction to knowledge. You become more courageous. Right?
Okay. 다시 또 나는 무슨 장을 와서 말이 니들이랑 거 아니야 나는 대화적으로 무슨 장을 와.
So generally there are 3 times 5 paths, 15 paths, right? 3 times 5, 15 paths, right?
대나라 법학 코네라는 가세요. 소지 코네라는 가세요. 소지도 법학 일객차는 가세요.
So among these 15 paths, how many are there that are only the superior path? There are only superior path, not mixed with the ordinary path. So, and how many are there that are only ordinary paths? And how many are there that are mixed with both superior and ordinary paths?
Okay? Now we almost finished the psalm. We got to know 다 담보 발음 코네는 가세요.
So first, how many are there that are only superior path?
None.
9.
Good. Everybody agree with her? Yes. Good. 다 끝까지나?
What are they?
The 3 that are in the path of seeing, meditation, and normal learning.
Everybody 니한테 하자 다 도와주고
Well,
있어요.
actually, no, it can't be 3 in normal learning, can it?
That's one of them. So there's the 3.
Right, but then you have,
Seeing,
but it's
meditation,
9, so you have to have the.
For each of the...
Each of
Right,
each
yeah,
of-
so
Each of
there's
vehicle,
each
yeah.
of the 3 in each
So
of them.
path of seeing, path of meditation, path of noble learning for
Right.
healers, and then for soul realizers, and then for Mahayana.
Oh,
So
okay.
that makes it 9.
Yeah.
Anybody understand?
Well, I think what Maureen said, it's a little bit misleading to call the path of no more learning for hearers. It's not really a path of no more learning because there's more to learn. It's within the hearers. So isn't that what you're saying? It's a little bit misleading?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
그렇죠.
밀어람 써야 되다. 로베 배웠어. 연도 밀어람 돼야 말이야. 이제 로베 열어. 이제 로베 내가 대전 로베 열어. 밀어람 쓰는. 근데 그거는 되게 비싸.
대는 니들 문을 내가 문을 나야 말했어. 니들한테 나와야 말했어.
So you have to call it normal learning, the path of normal learning of hearers. So there in the hearers, there's no more than that, to learn. So there's no more to learn than that. So when you reach that, that's the final. So you have to say normal path of normal learning of hearers.
근데 니들 다 좀봐대. 다 문을 바로 문을. 대지라 상식을 세계나 니들 다 좀 많이 줘서 그랬어.
So the arhat, in the path of normal learning of the hearers, there's no more to learn in the hearer's path, right? But then when he or she generates bodhicitta, then he is no longer the arhat of the hearer's path.
그냥 나도 다 okay. Okay, you guys just now more clear.
Yeah.
This is driven. 니한테 말하면서 니한테 때문에 하면 왔다. 니한테 말하면서 나도 말하는 거 하면 좋았어. 그 니한테
그래서
말하면서
나중에 말해서 그러게 나도 나중에 말해서.
니한테 잡으려고 말했어. 나좀 말했어.
So when you become arhat, which means what? Four destroyers, right? Four destroyers. The four is the enemy, right? The enemy destroyer. So the one who has destroyed the enemy, the delusions, right? So that's called the arhat. So when you become arhat of the hearers, you're in no more part of normal learning of the hearer's vehicle. And then after that, you realize that that's not the final. You still have the general bodhicitta. Then you strive the general bodhicitta. And then after that, you no longer become the arhat of the hearers. You are arhat, but not arhat of the hearers.
No.
So you understand? That
So
you are
that-
arhat, but not hearers arhat.
So that the path of no more learning is not synonymous with Buddhahood.
No.
Only in the
So only in the Mahayana.
Mahayana.
In the Mahayana, yes. The Ram, 대체났다.
That makes sense.
The other thing is basically, like the way you are thinking, if that's correct, then the path of seeing isn't really path of seeing for anybody except for the bodhisattvas.
Right,
And the path of meditation isn't. But the thing is, the reason that there are different vehicles is because each one has its own specific, like, afflictions that they will get rid of, and, you know, liberation that they will achieve.
Yeah, sure.
Good. 빼냈지 말거든. 북은 들어가와라. 그런 롭도시라. 대롭도는 들어가와라. 그 때문에 나야 말았어. 들어 주버는 그 들어가려면 그만고. 들어가려면 랍타를 봤어. 대충 봐는 그랬어.
So when you're in the class 5, you study whatever you study in the class 5, and when you have completed class 5, then you have completed, right?
Yeah.
After that, when you have completed class 5, there's no more to learn in the class 5. And then when you move up to class 6, you have nothing, you have no more to learn, of class 5 and class 6.
Yeah, this is a very example. 다 좀 하고 와서 방 그만 솔레 다 숨지와 숨나간 걸 봤어.
So now you know that, right? Those are the 9 arhats, 9 superior beings, right? Of the 3 vehicles. So there are 3 in each vehicle.
다 쏟으시고 권이 나면 가세요.
And so how many are there that are only ordinary path?
5, 6, 4,
Six.
6. Okay. How many say 6? Everybody say 6. Okay. Then any others? 쏟으시고 권나라 되지 나오냐?
Only ordinary path.
Oh, there should
Only.
be only 2, right? That
I don't know.
can be only, or do we have to count like could possibly be
Yeah.
both?
권나라는
Only.
only. Yeah.
Say the
Only
question
ordinary.
again.
Huh? So out of those 15 paths, how many are there that are only ordinary path? Not mixed with the superior path, only ordinary path.
I think, if I remember correctly, because this is a trick question he asked before, so I think it's 2.
Why do you think he would play a trick with you?
Okay.
We took away 9, that only.
No, because you can be on the path of accumulation and path of preparation in the Pratyeka Buddha
Right.
or the Bodhisattva
Right.
vehicle, and have already passed through
Of
the hearer's
Right.
superior
or
path.
solitary.
So then you
realizers.
could actually be a superior. You've already passed through the path of seeing on the hearer's path, and now you are in
That's
the
right.
Pratyeka Buddha or
That's
the
right.
Bodhisattva vehicle.
I remember that.
Okay.
But on their path of accumulation and path.
So you got to kind of go back through the ropes again.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
go back though, do you?
You don't go
You
back.
don't go
No,
backwards.
you don't go
You don't go
backwards.
back.
You're still a superior. Once you have the path of seeing, you are a superior.
No, you're a superior. You don't lose that, but you still, you still
You're
have to
not
go
a-
through
you're
the
not a-
accumulation of the
Right.
Mahayana. That's what I
You're
meant.
not a
Go back.
superior of the Bodhisattva vehicle or Pratyeka Buddha vehicle until you've achieved their path of seeing, right? But you are a superior of the Shravaka vehicle.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of tricky. It's first,
Okay.
the right answer is 6, right? Of your first question.
I said only, right?
Only.
Only, so to the exclusion of that
Only,
last
yes.
possibility.
Yeah.
Only
But
that's
I
the 6,
said
right?
that,
So you're still saying 6, and you're saying 2?
He said 2, and only 6. 6 people all preach back.
So small meat,
Yeah.
so.
That they don't call it. Yes, only 2, okay, only 2. That 2 you got it. What that?
What are they?
The Shravaka vehicle of path of accumulation and the Shravaka vehicle of path of preparation.
그럼 이대로.
얘들이 서로 저러니.
Okay? This is why. that 가르치는 거기 소식이 그만 적었나?
So why are there only these 2 that are only ordinary path?
Okay. This is that there is. 양도 남 성는 딸 마셔도 돼요. 마셔도 돼. 그리고 이제 대라자 대화 좀남 마셔도 다 니들어 와서.
So among these 3 vehicles, the lowest one is what? Hearers, or the Shravaka, so hearers vehicle, right?
내가 남나 도마 쇼도 말아 다 그냥 대화 친구도 라자니 남한테 막 돌네 다 니도 도마 쇼는 좋아요 말해서 오버 걸 넣어야 라자다 친구니 땅 보는
Yeah.
바람 보는 돈이 양장 니도 도마 나다 쇼 배워서
So, what do you call that? Preceded, like there's no the healers, so ordinary beings, who have already preceded the Arya path or the superior path. So the healers, is the lowest one, right, among these 3. And so, so once you have become the superior beings, of the soul realizer and Mahayana vehicle, then you never fall back. And so it's not like, and you already became superior being of that, and then you go back, and then enter into the lower path. There's no possible like that, right? So therefore, there's, it's not possible. So those are the only 2 that can be only ordinary path.
다 되지. 다 인기 잘하다 싫어서 다 싫어야 소시오행이 봐봐야 싫어서
And so now the 2 out of 6 ordinary paths, right? Of each 2 of each vehicle, so there are 6 ordinary paths. But only there are 2 that's only ordinary path. So among the 6 now 2 are the only ordinary path, and now there are 4 remaining, right? The 4 left.
다 가려다 다 년기 돈 오고 또 받는 데 소비 아니 라자 소모도 좀 요다 요쓰기 그래서
And so those who have already preceded, the superior path of the healers, can enter into the social realizers path of accumulation and path of preparation.
대대다 강사 가시 인티라나 마시 대대대 다 라자 소모양래 아니 다 보면 저래 보세. 라자 소모인데 소모종이라
또 보면 소원이라.
또 보면 소모했나? 아니 공부를 저래 보세. 대다 라자 소모나 당까지 보가 있는 게 많이 자기가 요 수시 이게 많이 있는 게 자유서.
그거는 법안에는 전들 법 많이 쓰고.
그런 거 많이 써.
So then someone who have preceded, the preceded means like gone through before, right? Gone through that before, who have preceded the superior path of the healers, and then enter into the social realizers path of accumulation, or who have reached the path of preparation. So in this both are ordinary paths, right? So that is healers, social realizers ordinary path, right? The path of social realizers path of accumulation and social realizers path of preparation are social realizers ordinary path, right? But because they have gone through and they have preceded the realizations of the the healers spirit path, therefore they are also called spirit beings. They are spirit beings, but they are not spirit beings of the healers.
다 방법인데 생기면 라자 소모배나 아니 다 소소시고 거네다 다 라자 소모주니가 이게 자유스.
And so then, so someone if they enter into the social realizers path of accumulation or path of preparation from the beginning, preceding the hearer's spirit path, then they are only ordinary beings. Right? They are only ordinary beings. So in the social realizers vehicle, they are both only ordinary beings and ordinary beings.
근데 그도 같이 남가 되죠. 같이 마시면 소소 끊어다 다 소소 계시니라 따라하려고 그래서 뭐 청이나 근데 같이 나자로 같이 니들아 좀 같이 한번 지어줘야 되거든.
So in the heroes and solitary realizers, sometimes some enter into the heroes, some enter into the solitary realizers path. It depends on what kind of motivation they have, and then also what kind of teacher that they meet with, which kind of teacher. So depend on which teacher leads on which path.
좋아. 아니 나도 지금 같이 뭐라든 되지. 아, 저 집으로 요거 같이 인터도 라디아니가 다 주로 도망은 속에 대마주로 소모주는 것도 봐봐야겠어.
And of course, in the Mahayana path, it is definitely possible, right, to have a Mahayana, someone who is on the Mahayana path of accumulation or path of preparation, who have already preceded the superior path of the healers or solitary realizers.
아니 동본인들 링에 대마주로 소모하다 중앙이 아니 다 소소시고 거나려요 소시.
And then someone who has entered into the Mahayana path from the beginning, not going through the healers or solitary realizers path, and then those again are only ordinary beings. They're not. There's no list of spirit beings there.
그래. 다들 가서 로존을 대출도 십자서 근데 말 이거 걔네들 가고 한다 주도 대서 선도 장소 다 뻥셔고 말이지.
And so this is the fact, so which is asserted in every monastery. They all accept that that's how it is. So whichever great monasteries you go to, you will not lose your face if you say that.
다 옛날야 니들 자주면 또 받는데 소리 샹슨 손와바데스 자주말로 왔어.
And so someone, someone who is on the path, Mahayana path of accumulation, right? Someone who is on the Mahayana path of accumulation, who have preceded the arhatship of the healers, is arhat or not?
Yes. They had already achieved arhatship.
Yes, they have already achieved arhatship, and then later they enter into the Mahayana path of accumulation, right? So they are arhat or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
다 알아야 이나 다 니들 자주말에와 장자 자주말에와 자주말나.
So if they are arhat, then what arhat are they? Arhat of the healers, arhat of the solitary realizer, or arhat of the Mahayana?
Of whichever vehicle they achieved arhatship in. So if they
So here we're saying someone on the Mahayana path of accumulation who have achieved, who have previously achieved the arhatship of the healers.
so they should
So
be-
that Bodhisattva on the path of accumulation now, right? Bodhisattva, right?
Yeah.
Is arhat.
Yeah,
So you are saying it's healers arhat?
should be.
Really?
Should be.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't it if you? They have different sets of afflictions, but the enemy. If you say the enemy destroyer, the
Is it?
Chomba, I say yes.
Yeah, okay.
그래. 니들 자주말했어. Then how about you guys? Follow him?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Don't follow me. Make your own mind. I could be going over the edge of the cliff. You don't want to just follow.
I think here is because they haven't passed the seam. Once they pass that, then they become Mahayana. Is that correct?
No, they are Mahayana already.
No, they're in the Mahayana, but they're an arhat of the hearer's path right now on their journey along the Mahayana. But they become Mahayana after the.
So you're
after
saying
seeing.
yes.
I'm saying yes.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody say yes?
No, I say
No.
no.
Unless no, right? Then
No?
okay. Now, 뭐 yes 때 치우죠. 아, 아니라 마이스 다 많이 믿지 되시잖아.
So usually, when in the debate, when you say yes or no, if you say yes, then the person has to debate you back. That's a very safe answer. So, but if you say no, then you have to give up. answer. Why you say no? So Anla said no. Now you give the answer.
Well, no, I would say that I wouldn't say that they're in our heart. I would just say that they're a bodhisattva on the path of accumulation, and then they move really
So
fast.
you're saying they're not even arhat?
Well, I wouldn't call them in our heart.
Are they arhat or not?
If they've defeated the afflictions, like
Yes.
they have a set of afflictions that they defeat,
Yes.
Yes.
Dachomba.
yeah, they must be an arhat. I don't know if there is a
So
distinction.
you're saying they are not even the arhat?
No, I think they have the cessation, but I don't think they get the label because they're in a different path
나좀
now.
라고 말했어. 뭐라서는 먼저 나좀 라고 말했어. 먼저 전도적으로 그랬어.
It seems like the question is, can they lose their
다
arhatship?
자주말로
No,
이제 자주말로
no,
해.
they can't lose it through
But
cessation.
you don't call
It's
it.
permanent.
You don't call it. You don't label it.
Okay.
Let's say you don't label it, but they are arhat.
Yeah, I think they have the
Okay.
cessation.
They are arhat.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Oh, good.
so then you're saying, but they are not heroes arhat.
Yeah, I wouldn't label them a hearer's arhat.
You don't label, but are there heroes arhat?
Yeah.
If
You're
they
asking me
achieve
to
the
label.
arhatship on the
No, we're not asking to label or not label. Asking whether there are heroes arhat or not.
yeah, yes or no, just yes or no answer.
You said no, right?
I say yes. If they
You
achieve,
said yes.
I don't like
No,
the
no, Angela said no.
if they achieved arhatship in the hearers,
No, yours will come later, don't worry. Geshe said take rest now. Angela's turn.
Okay, well, I guess I'll say yes, just
Okay, so you
to
say
move
yes
along.
too. Oh, same answer.
or why do you think not? You think maybe
Because
they
I don't think, I think now they're on a bodhisattva path that they wouldn't have the label. I agree they have the cessation, because a true cessation is permanent, right? So, but I don't think we would call them that.
Yeah,
Okay, not 시도가 change, right?
yeah.
나 저도 일하러 왔어. 다 니들 다 좀 봐. 세다 다 니들 뭐라는 거라서 니들 뭐라는 거.
Yeah.
Right.
다 좀 봐. 세다 이제 남한테 니들 뭐라는 거라고 왔어.
So the arhat,
니들 다 좀 봐.
arhat of the hearer has to be normal learning, part of normal learning of hearers, right?
Yes.
그래서 니들 다 준비해 남 결에 되면 가들라 니들 다 준비해 고 말이야.
얘도 그러려는 거.
아, 니들 뭐라는 거 말이야.
So if you are arhat of the hearers, you have to be in the path of normal learning of hearers, right?
When you say in,
You see, that's the one. You still
Yeah.
said yes, right?
yeah, I will still say yes, but
Okay.
I think this is semantics. Like when you say in the path of no more learning to
No.
me-
If you are arhat of the hearers,
Yeah.
if you are arhat of hearers,
Yeah.
don't you have to be in the path of normal learning of hearers?
If we say in, then I have to have the caveat that in means that you have disposed of the afflictions for that the Shravakas dispose of. That's not ever going to change.
Yes.
So once you dispose of, then if you mean in by yes, the afflictions are still disposed of, then yes.
No. It means like you're in that path. Yeah, definitely. You have exposed that,
So in
right?
that sense, yeah, you are
Yes.
still in
Okay.
that path
Yeah,
forever.
alright, good.
After that, you are
Good,
forever.
good. We still have more to debate. Good. Bingo.
이거 다 니들 뭐라는 이게 상주 생각이지 그래.
So is there a bodhisattva who is in the path of normal learning of hearers? Is there a bodhisattva?
This is this is the funny thing, though. I mean, if you
No, yes or no?
if I follow the definition which they give
Is
in
that or
this
no?
text, if I follow the definition they say in this text, then I have to say yes.
Is there?
I have to say yes.
There is? You're saying there is.
I have to say that.
Yours.
Yeah.
Yours.
아,
Because the definition of
So-
the path
so-
of no more learning is
나 저기서 연통이 밀으려면 연통이 라면 거라.
니들 뭐라는 니들이라는 거 말이야.
So if it is a path of normal learning of the hearers,
what's the definition? Of
No,
What's the
don't worry,
definition
don't
of
worry.
the hearer's path of no more learning?
yeah. So if it is the path of normal learning of the hearers, then it is hearer's path, right? The path of normal learning of the hearers is hearer's path, right?
Yeah, I mean, if
Yes?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Yes.
들어봐.
Yes.
상주 세미나다 전에 좀 짓대 그러.
And but the bodhisattva is Mahayana path, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Or bodhicitta,
Yeah.
Mahayana path.
그런데 되게 강하시게 좀 용식이도.
So it is not possible for one person to be on both paths, right?
So I have a question then. Like,
Leave your question there.
I mean, I'm not sure that that makes sense with the definition that we are given in this text, though.
No.
Because the definition of the path of no more learning is like the person who has gotten rid of all of the afflictions for that path. Right? That's the path of no more learning.
Yes.
So the hearer's path of no more learning is for the person who has gotten rid of all of the afflictions that the hearers get
But
rid of.
it is still hearer's path, right?
But the person who goes to the Mahayana path, from the hearer's path of no more learning, do they re-get the afflictions from the hearer's path? No, they still have gotten rid of them.
That's what the ahas, right?
So it seems like they meet the definition of being on the path of no more learning of the hearer, even though they are now in a Mahayana path. So it's paradoxical because you shouldn't be a Mahayanist and a hearer at the same time. But
How was it?
But maybe it has to do with the way you're
그것은 년도 밀어남 쓰더니
It's an achievement.
밀어남
that
년도
you cross the line.
년도 밀어남
It is.
또 차서는
But, well, it may not,
년도기
it may be more
남게
of a state
년도 사람 방자도 상업 방사에서
particular.
It's not a state that you ever change out of. Once you've gotten rid of those afflictions, they don't come back ever.
그 나좀
Well, I know that
나좀
the
봐.
state of
그래서 너무 상업 방사가
achievement
안 되죠. 년도기 너무 상업 년도기
But the definition of the path of no more learning is a negative definition. You've gotten rid of these
I
things.
understand that.
But they still didn't get bodhicitta, so they're on the new path.
I don't know. What did he say? Does he?
No, I just explained to him what you said, so let us hear from him. That's all, 칼라브.
아, 제가 말하는
Twists and turns, it's good.
관심만지 다들 말에 대충 잘 놀았어. 관심. 그래서 레슨이 잘 놀았어.
See, that's why it's called no path of normal learning, right? Of the hearer, so that's the heart, so that's the four destroyer, right? So when you're in a bodhisattva path, you're still four destroyer. You have destroyed that four.
Yeah.
Everything that is to be destroyed, you have already destroyed all the destroyed, so you don't regain it.
Right.
It's not saying you're not four destroyer, you're four
Yeah.
destroyer, but you're not four destroyer of the hearers. So because if you're four destroyer of the hearers,
Yeah.
then you have to be in the path of normal learning of the hearers.
So then
Because
this,
you're not there,
Right.
therefore you're not a hearer's path of the hearer's four destroyer. But you are four destroyer.
so then it has to do with the motivation, right? That's it. So the bodhicitta makes all the difference. So you are still a foe destroyer, but as soon as you have bodhicitta, we can't properly call you a hearer anymore.
나 그 내중도 삼바였나? 가서 다 팀에 남라이나 다 거라 대쟁게 거라다 라니 주시도 인로디 요거라. 또 밀어나면 거디 요라. 다 대빵사라.
대빵을.
대빵.
대까지 빠나 아니 그 얘들랑 떠는 얘들랑 많이 잘했어.
하거든. So yeah, of course, it is the motivation. It has to do with the motivation, right? Because when you are in the path of normal learning of the hearers, even though you are four destroyed, you have destroyed all the force that is to be destroyed in the hearer's path, but you still have that thought wanting to achieve liberation mainly for oneself alone, right? So when you're a bodhisattva, you don't have that thought anymore. Now you're thinking about others. So you have abandoned that path. So you are in a bodhisattva path. So of course you are bodhisattva now. But because you have destroyed that four, therefore you are four destroyer. But you are not four destroyer of hearers.
But you still technically meet the definition of the hearer's path of no more learning.
No, because you don't have that thought. You have to have that thought. That's what I was saying earlier. You have to have that thought, wanting to achieve liberation mainly for yourself alone.
Okay.
So if you don't have that thought, therefore you are not in the Mahayana, the hearer's path at all.
맨날 찾아봐야 돼. 얘들 맨날想서 총을 또 먹는 통을 받대. 총하고 또 먹는 통인데 아니 총을 말해 왔어. 총을 토대를 먹는 거 그게 여러 총을 먹는 거 그게 톱처럼.
그랬으냐, 너희?
맨날想서 막 총하고 또 가면서 통인데 총하고 말해 왔어. 총하고 얘들 그만 그 톱처럼 그 얘들 그만 많이 말해 왔어.
So just like, when you're in the path, let's say Mahayana path accumulation, right? And you gain certain knowledge there, and you make certain abandonments there, and you have abandoned everything that needs to be abandoned in order to move up to the path of preparation or move up to the path of seeing. Then you move up to the path of seeing. So you have all the knowledge of the path of accumulation, right? And you have abandoned everything that is to be abandoned on the path of accumulation, but you are not path of accumulation. You are now in a path. You have all that knowledge.
Yeah.
Just like the Bodhisattva on the path of preparation has all that knowledge
Right.
of the arhat, hearer's arhat, and of that knowledge, but it's not a hearer's arhat.
So I think, like, maybe the way I'm thinking is he was talking before about grade 5 or whatever. So when we go through the education system, we get some diplomas,
Yes.
some titles,
Yeah.
right? So you are now a high school graduate, you now have a BA, you have a master's degree, a PhD or whatever. So because you have the title doesn't necessarily mean you are still at that level always, right? So you can get a high school diploma and you can say, I'm a high school graduate, but it's true, you will always be a high school graduate, but you could be a PhD also, which kind of, you're far beyond that in some way. So I don't know, I guess
So anyway, what is the main question that was asked earlier?
whether you can be a hearer arhat in a Mahayana
In the
path,
Mahayana path.
right? Which is, the answer is no, but technically, I mean, it seems like,
No, the main question was,
yeah,
so the Bodhisattva on the path of accumulation who have preceded
yeah,
the arhatship of the heroes, right? So heroes four destroyer who have preceded the heroes four, the state of heroes four destroyer, and is a four destroyer, right?
they are.
It's a four
yes.
destroyer. So if it's a four destroyer or arhat, and then it is arhat of what?
You have to say that it's a
Then it is
Mahayana.
arhat of what?
It has to be a Mahayana. Or-
Mahayana arhat?
If they are in a Mahayana path, that's the
But
question.
Mahayana arhat is the Mahayana path of noble learning, right? They have not achieved that yet. So
So
they are
then-
in the path of accumulation.
So then we just call them a generic arhat?
Exactly. 나좀 보라. 지난 나좀 보라 맞지? 나좀 보다 믹스 가능지기 나좀 보라.
어, 대말.
That's right.
That's
So
right.
they are generic, the arhat.
Oh, okay.
So they are not arhat of the healers, because if it can be only if it is arhat. If it has to be arhat of any of these three vehicles,
Yeah.
then it can be only the arhat of the healers. But it cannot be because it is not in healer's
Yes.
path.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And therefore, and of course, definitely not in the Mahayana, arhat, because you have to be in the Mahayana part of the Buddha,
Yes.
that's not.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
right.
haven't gone through the, so if there are, there has to be that, but they cannot be that because you have to be in that path, now they are not in that path, they are in the Mahayana path, and therefore they are arhat, but not arhat of any of the three vehicles.
아니,
That's the answer now.
Yeah. That's.
아들아서도 매사도 또 다른 다 말했어요. 다 지도 저 때서 못 가서.
Push me into that label.
Yeah,
That's right. No, you had that idea of level, Well, you were right before.
했더니 가정을 때 그냥 아무도 부모질러야 보겠나? 다 부모들 아마 배우러 왔어. 얘나 대고 뭐 부모만 쳐서 말아. 부모 이해하러 왔어. 그래서 빼다가 로게미 가시.
Condes. Karibe.
부모질러야. 부모질러야 보겠나? 나도 부모들 아마도 배우러 왔어.
다들 민다라고 잘.
민다고 아마만 따로 왔어. 그러나 그 부모께서는 아니 그지라 단대지라 이나 뭐 부모 이해하라. 그래서 부모 이해하러 되려고. 다 당계도 그 자주만 이해하라. 이나 그지라 샤주선께서 맨나 다그 샤주서 가다 그 샤주 자주를 니들 자주만 또 바꾸고 이제 방면에서 로커로
년들 아주 많이 보셨어요.
대
되게 어렵대요.
대번이라도 다 틀어서 말 다들 그래 지퍼를 지나서 때려오래도 간제만에 뛰어서 간제대 많이 나오고 그래서 자주면서 뭐 가는 많이 있어.
So anyway, Geshe was trying to give you that example, like it says a woman becomes a mother when she gives birth to a child, right? So, but even though she becomes a mother, she's still a woman. So that's just it doesn't work exactly in this case. Anyway, so here, if you are arhat,
Forget about that.
it's not necessary to be arhat of any of three vehicles. If you are arhat, it's not necessary to be arhat of the three vehicles. So you can be arhat, on the path of accumulation of the bodhisattva path, and who have preceded, the arhatship of the hearers.
그러나 자주만이나 태워서 뭐 가는 게 자주만도 맞아. 자주만나 태워서 뭐 가는 게 자주 공부도 배쳤으면 또 수제되는 거지.
So we can say that if it is an arhat, it is not necessary to be the arhat of any of the three vehicles. But if it is an arhat, then it's necessary to have achieved, arhatship of any of the three vehicles.
Okay? Okay, yeah.
I just want to make this as simple as possible. So, if they've achieved the path of normal learning on the hearer's vehicle, and then they're now on the Mahayana path of accumulation, they're liberated from samsara? Because I was just reading this, and maybe it's a difference in realization, but it says that they are liberated from samsara on the 8th ground on the path of. Is that only for people who have not progressed through the lower vehicles, or is that for in general?
대말 이거서 또 방면서
맞다. 그 ben에 년도 다중 도범도 소리 장점 처럼 줘라. 타고 타고.
대토
되는 날 나도 싹 겨울에 타고 타고 있어요, 제가.
대토
또 보면 마찬가지.
또 방면 마찬가지.
Yeah, that's right. So So those who have gone, who have already achieved the arhatship of the healers and then enter into the minor path of accumulation, though they are in the minor path of accumulation, they have already achieved liberation.
So they don't have to wait to the 8th round.
They don't have to be, yeah, they don't have to wait. So and on the 8th round, it's only those who go, straight into the minor path from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now start. 다 가서 땅을 도망으로 와서 대화지만 도망
And so last time we talked about path of preparation and path of accumulation and path of preparation, right? So now we're in the path of seeing. Is that right?
No, we finished that.
I finished it.
We finished it.
도망치고.
We finished the path of seeing.
Yeah.
다 지나면 되네. 지나면 또 고나고 되니.
And now what is that? The subsequent realization?
Yeah.
The path of meditation.
Path of meditation, right?
That's what we begin, yeah.
야, 다 지나면 또 고나고 되니. 내가는 니들이 고나. 소소미는 니들이 고나. 안되고 소미 왔어.
So now again, same as before, it has also three divisions, right? The path of meditation of the healers, path of meditation of the soul realizer, and path of meditation of normal learning, right?
니들이 되면 니들이 고나고 되니. 니들이 지나면 또.
What number is it? Title?
46.
46?
Oh, page, did you say?
No,
Yeah,
title.
section.
So page is 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, subsequent clear realization, when you realize it, so the hero's path of meditation and so forth. Hero's path of meditation is hero's subsequent clear realization.
다 니들이 지나 니들이 고나고 되니. 대라이나 냠지 니들이 고나면 백성이 여기서 와. 니들이 고나면 이제 더 되고 있어. 냠지 니들이 고나고 되니.
And so again, it's when it's divided, there are three, right? Meditative equipoise, the subsequent realization, and the net of those two, right?
다 라이드 집에 담으라 드리는 영화 중에 니들이 지나면 또 니들이 고나면 여기서 되니 그래서.
And then the subsequent clear realization of
라이드 집에 담으라 드리는 영화 중에 니들이 지나면 또 니들이 고나면.
the subsequent clear realization of healers in one-pointed meditative equipoise in the selflessness that is its object is the definition of exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of healers' path of meditation.
가서 너무도 좋지. 딱 납사. 다 대라이나 다 니들이 고나면 여기서 니들이 고나. 니들이 고나면 여기서 되니 그래. 다 대라 니들이 고나 빠지면 너가 되니 고나면 니들이 고나면.
And then again, this exalted wisdom of the meditative equipoise is the path of hero's path of meditation. When it's divided, there are three. And the uninterrupted path of the hero's path of meditation, the path of release of the hero's path of meditation, and the exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of the hero's path of meditation. That is neither of those two.
다 강사가 담에 드리는 영화 중에 니들이 지나면 또 강마시 한국 거지 빠져지면 니들 지금 이 시간에 니들이 고나 빠지면 되니.
So that which is the clear realization of heroes in one-pointed meditative equipoise on selflessness of person, and which act as an actual antidote to the afflictive obstructions and abandon on the path of meditation, which are its corresponding objects of abandonment. That's the definition of uninterrupted path of the hero's path of meditation.
다 대라에는 다 니들이 고나 안에 주문에 주주 벌다 거기에서 다 제주 거 잡을래서. 대그 사단에 가셔나 이 뭐가 빠졌지만 예절라 바라바치 아니 다 바라바치 되는 데서 전부 다 전부 숨샤. 근데 저래라요 참고 전부 인생 중에서 숨샤도 쉬어서 빠지잖아요.
So there's one that is divided. There are 9, ranging from the small to the small of the heroes, under the path of meditation, and to the great of the great. And so there are 9, right? So there's a small, medium, and great. And then the small has the small, medium, small, great. And then the medium has a medium, small, medium, great. Great has a great, small, great, medium, and great, great. So that's how they're divided into 9.
근데 이거 저도 정말 대전에서는 대전에도 말이죠. 때때들라다 주문하는 데를 나도 못 배우죠.
So it is a little confusing here. It will become more clear when we reach into the minor part. So it will be more clear there at that time.
다른 년의 집이 라다 여자 특별한 집이 인디지 거나 빠짐으로 좀 거래 들어와래 또 다음에 뜻이 정말 시대 이들이 뭐라고 생기래서
And a subsequent clear realization of a hero in one point of meditative equipoise on selflessness that has been released from the obstructions that corresponds to the uninterrupted path of the hero's path of meditation, produced in the same session of meditative equipoise as it, and which is its substantial cause. Is the definition of the path of release of the hero's path of meditation.
되게 다든지 되게 다 좋아 다 거와대 다른 자주 다 모르는 정도까지 담아.
And so this is again the small to the great, right? And so the last one, the great, or the 10th one, will be the path of normal learning of the hero's vehicle.
다들 맞아야 된다. 지바라 됐던 거 지바라 해서
So this is when it's divided. There are 9 ranging from the small hero's path of meditation to the great, right? And that reason can be applied to the social values. So you apply same reason for the to the social values.
대단하고 대신한다. 대신이 때 너무 맛이 대사다. 대신을 사 소셜 고아를 때 도대를 내 사실 말을 계시는 말에 딱고 주실 것에 가면 너무 사다 보니까 공감을 내가 뜻이 갈고 걔들이라고 무슨 말했어.
Heroes and social realizers, because they don't mention about, they don't have that category of the 10 bhumis in heroes and social realizers path, so it's a little bit difficult to apply these the 9 divisions of the uninterrupted path and the path of release. But in the Mahayana path, they apply there are 10 bhumis, and then so when you apply that to these 10 bhumis, then it's a little bit easier to understand. So we'll go through more detail in the minor path.
Does he mean the 10 bhumis are corresponding to these 9 divisions?
9
or
divisions,
still
yes.
less?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
어디 다 대신이 지나는 것 되게 어디 대라는 대신 거는 영지 그래 다 영지 제대로 된 거는 어서 이래 들어와.
And so the definition of the minor path of meditation is the subsequent realization of the Mahayana. If that is divided, there are 3, such as the exalted wisdom meditative equipoise of the Mahayana path of meditation. This is the first, the definition of the exalted wisdom, the meditative equipoise of the minor path is, and then you follow there, right?
들어와. 랑키가 담나 들이 영지 니들이 지나는 거 대신 지나는 거 랑키도 거 랑게도 주고 대신이 거는 여러씩 생기스.
This is that which is subsequent realization of the Mahayanist in one point of meditative equipoise on the selflessness, that is, it is object, and which has risen to become manifested in the continuum of a person who possesses that in her continuum.
나한테 되는 거는 인간이 주어서도 주될 거 믿으라고 되고 인간이 주어서.
So that which and which has arisen to become manifested in the continuum of the person or who possesses that in her continuum. You understand? You get any understanding from that? It says which has arisen to become manifest.
They already had the realization, right?
Uh-huh.
And then this one means like it comes again after they've already had it.
Mm-hmm.
It exists within their continuum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the manifesting of it later, right?
유효버렸어. 이건 뭐만 유효버렸어. 나타 제가 는 뭐도 유효버렸어. This is what it's.
대말.
Both versions always fail.
It goes from latent to manifest.
단단 감지는 니열에 감지는 니열에. 니열에.
Do we have sleep in our mind now? I mean, in our continuum, we have sleep now?
It's latent.
Yes,
No.
yes,
Yes, right?
yes, we do.
인간계 뭐. 인간계.
It's latent,
But
yeah.
it's
it has
not, it's latent, it's not manifesting, right?
근데 인자 대전 통합 맞지?
Sure, I believe.
오케이. 알아는데. 그래서 대전 통합 다시 뭐라고 와서 대전 통합 여자다. 고난 여자 봐요. 와서. 고난 여자 붙이지. 상식을 셈대 대전은 제외로 해서.
So, Bodhisattva on the meditative equipoise, the path of meditation, right? The meditative equipoise is the path of meditation. Does he or she have bodhicitta in his mind?
No.
Huh?
Well, we just talked about this before last week. We said that no, when you're in meditative equipoise, it's not manifest.
They have it.
It informs. It's,
But do you have it or not?
지금 열어.
Well,
So I
yeah,
think-
what
Does
is
it exist?
You have
Does it
no-
exist? Does bodhicitta exist in that person's
Yes.
mind? It does.
Yes.
Yours.
So this is like when he told us about renunciation being like night and day, and it doesn't mean like continuously night and day you have no other thought besides renunciation, but that it's a continuous thing in your mind, like a mother's
Informs everything.
concern for her child. It doesn't mean that she can't like read a book or drive a car or anything, but she always has that there, like it's something that becomes a part of her. So it's like that, right?
야, 이거 열어봤어.
Yeah. So
이나 당연 체험하는 것 같아.
so it does exist anyway. So it does exist, right, in the mind of the bodhisattva on meditative equipoise or the path of meditation. There is bodhicitta, but it's not manifesting, right?
당연히 좋아서 대가고 대가하게 대녀력이 말하더라고요. 대신 상식선데.
And so when it says the manifesting, so when it says manifesting here, it prohibits that. So that means, so that is not a meditative equipoise. So saying that bodhicitta is not a meditative equipoise.
kasi 녀저시는 게 주고 감정 게 저거로 왔어.
So it is not meditative, the wisdom of exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. If it is that bodhicitta in the bodhisattvas, in the continuum of bodhisattva who is in meditative equipoise for the Mahayana path of meditation, and that bodhicitta is not exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. If it is exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, then it has to manifest, because that is not manifesting at that time. Therefore, it is not the meditative. It's not the exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise.
당연히 좋아서 고지 가져다 가지고.
So that's the reason why it says manifest here.
Okay, so the point is, like I said before, it means when it's happening at the moment, when you're in the equipoise,
That's right.
after you've already had the initial direct realization or whatever, at a later time, when you re-enter the equipoise, when it occurs again, then it's this one.
Well, you have it, when at the time when you're manifesting, of course, it's already there,
Yeah,
But there are certain things that are not manifesting at that time.
yeah.
So so when you say manifest, then this stops those that are not manifesting from being exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. So what is manifesting at this time is only the wisdom, right?
Yeah.
So therefore only that is the exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. So other things, even though they are there,
Yeah.
but because they are not manifesting, therefore they are not exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise.
Wait,
In the
which
state of meditative
definition are we talking about?
equipoise.
Can I just ask? Are we talking about the path of meditative equipoise?
Equipoise of the path of meditation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the state of meditative equipoise is one of non-duality. Is that correct?
Stood up.
Meditative equipoise is a state of non-duality.
요새 난 이나도 들어 또 많이 나도 들어.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why nothing's manifesting.
Oh no, it is manifest.
I mean, the wisdom is there.
yeah,
that's
not
it.
other than that.
Yeah, not other
Nothing
than
other
that.
than that.
대학 가을에 양태지도 지답지 동네 도로지라 대양 여럿이 많이 바꿔는 거였을 때. 맨 주어도 고향 먹고 이래.
And so also during the subsequent realization or in the post-meditative equipoise, and you do have wisdom realizing emptiness at that time, but it's not manifesting.
Right.
You're not single-pointedly focusing on that,
Right.
so it is not manifesting at that time, but it does exist, right? So, but it is not the exalted wisdom of the subsequent realization. Or it's not a it's not an exalted wisdom of the post-meditative equipoise.
Yeah.
저도 쌍로 다 저도 쌍로 당했을 때. 이거 think about it this okay. Not just books there. 근데 받치면 여럿이 가리지 마. 제도시 가리지 말고 그 쌍도 당 그래서.
So you have to concentrate, you have to contemplate on that point, on these topics, like what is meditative equipoise and what is post-meditative equipoise.
여럿이 세야 돼. 안에 강사가 다음에 또니가 강을 인하는데 따로지라고 그래서.
So it is the meditative equipoise is the mind that is either focusing on selflessness or emptiness, and so single-pointedly that mind is called the exalted wisdom of the meditative equipoise.
가래 티가 급조 놓아요 말 급조 주가는 말 내려 놓아요 말.
And so at that time, there's no, only the ultimate phenomena appear to their mind, no conventional phenomena or no false phenomena.
제도지 세야 돼. 아니 되지 말 냐마샤고 말해줘. 냐자래 야 나이 일단 그리고 손은 속사시비. 내가 갖다 배낭만으로는 바샤고와 저배와 간대지와 될 거로.
So the exalted wisdom of the subsequent attainment is not focusing on emptiness at that time. You're engaging in other practices like engaging in the practice of making prostration, making offerings, and so forth.
어디다 내지 좀 와서 대신 거는 요요시들이 다 대라이나 대신지 거는 받치면은 올해 대신지 거는 받치면은 소송이라고 받치면은 뭐라나 되니 거는 받습니다. 요요시라는데 요요시 뭐라 되고.
So we're talking about the exalted wisdom of the meditative equipoise here, right? So you understand that. So the meditative equipoise is the minor part of meditation. And the definition is that which is the subsequent realization of the Mahayanist in one point of meditative equipoise on the selflessness that is its object and which has risen to become manifest in the continuum of a person who possesses that in her continuum. So when that is divided, there are three, such as the uninterrupted part of the minor part of meditation and so forth.
다 주의가 되지는 야마시면 인대지 제랑에도 강무시라는 거지. 내가 대지 인기신 바데 다 동물생이서 다 대장 고나 빠짐이랑 들리더라고.
So that's the definition of the first, the uninterrupted part, the minor part of meditation. So that which is the subsequent realization of the Mahayanas in one-pointed meditative equipoise on suchness, and which acts as the actual antidote to the innate apprehension of true existence, which corresponds to it.
다 됐다. 이거보다 다 대라에는 중국 코스음, 진 코스음, 지목 코스음이었어.
And now that when divided, there are three of the small cycle, and then three of the middling cycle, and then three of the great cycle.
다 대지 대화 좀 고난하더라고 고난하더라고.
So now we're talking about the Mahayana part of meditation, right?
다 대지지 고난 빠짐이나 강무시라는 거지. 대지 취묵이 시작하다 대지 고난 빠짐이나 추인선이 있어요.
So that which is an uninterrupted part of the Mahayana part of meditation, and which acts as the actual antidote to the great apprehension of true existence corresponding to it.
대지로 아름 뭐이 대지는 시작하다 대지 고난 빠짐이나 생이지. 다 대지도 고난 빠짐이나 가요거든요. 아니 사통부 고난 빠짐이나 사니비 고난 빠짐이나 이거래요.
And so now you understand this, right? So the smallest of small, uninterrupted part acts as an actual antidote to the greatest of the great apprehension of true existence corresponding to it.
다 대진이 고나 빠지면 주인제다 사슴이 빠지면 되지 예스잖아 그런다.
So this is divided. There are two. The first grounds, uninterrupted part of the path of meditation, and the second grounds, uninterrupted part of the path of meditation.
Okay? Now we'll confuse. Anyway,
So there's a middling small uninterrupted part of the minor part of meditation is mutually inclusive with the third grounds, uninterrupted part. That reasoning can be applied to the others.
okay.
So anyway, 대세시죠.
다음은 무슨 담보 사치와 담보는 사치와 사치 강한 고난을 와서 사치.
So from there are 10 rubies, right? 10 grams. So the first to the 10th are all in part of meditation, right? The 10 grams are all in part of meditation.
First to the ninth, right? Not to the 10th. The 10th is the path of the
No.
Some of it.
Such was no. It's a bodhisattva. Still bodhisattva.
I do not.
어디지? 다
You have an extra?
다 등록증에 가지 빠져 가는 렌즈에 있어. 렌즈.
So so there is a part of meditation. I mean, part of seeing, right, which starts which is the first of the superior part. So that is also in the first ground.
Yes.
So then there's a part, the first ground that's the part of seeing, and there's a part of the first ground that's part of meditation. So anyway, there is the first ground in part of meditation, and then second, third, all the way up to the 10th ground in the path of meditation. So during these 10 stages or 10 grounds, in the path of meditation, you fight or act as antidote, to the innate obstructions, innate. So innate apprehension of the true existence, which corresponds to anyway. So true an innate apprehension of true existence, and so there are now we say there are nine the grounds, right?
This is in the uninterrupted path, right? These are all uninterrupted paths.
So yes. So there's uninterrupted path. So there are 9 divisions. There's uninterrupted path of the first ground, second ground, third, another. So anyway,
but is there of the first ground? I thought first ground was path of seeing.
So which one?
The first ground.
The uninterrupted path.
So yeah, the first one starts with the second ground.
So there are 2 uninterrupted paths on the first ground. So the uninterrupted path is the path of seeing on the first ground, and uninterrupted path is the path of meditation on the first ground. And so when we talk about the 10 grounds, then we're all talking about in the path of meditation.
Yeah.
So we're not including the path of seeing there.
Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out how these divisions, like the basic idea is that you pass the path of seeing, so you now have seen like selflessness or emptiness, whatever, and it's the realization of that which is working on getting rid of the afflictions and obscurations.
Yes.
And because you are a beginner, they call it the lowest of the low or the least of the least, or
yes.
whatever, the beginning part.
Yeah.
And you work on the most gross of the afflictions.
That's right.
Like the biggest afflictions, and you slowly work your way down to the subtle ones, the higher up you go.
Yes, so in the delusions, the grosser it is, easier it is to abandon. Subtler it is, difficult it is to abandon. So the grosser are the easy ones. So grosser you abandon first with the small path. So the small path is a small realization. Great path is the great realization. Right? Yeah. So with the small path, you can abandon the great of the greatest.
Yes.
So which means the gross. So which is easy to see, easy to abandon. And then it has to become subtler and subtler, then it becomes more and more difficult. And so the more and more difficult are abandoned by the greater and great paths.
So my question is, I thought there are 9 divisions, right?
Yes.
Like from the I forget the smallest of the small, the middle of the small, the great of the small. So we have 9.
Yes.
How do we fit 10 grounds in there? I mean, I'm trying, because I thought maybe it's because the first ground is on path of seeing, and then we have 9 in the path of meditation. So maybe like 9.
이거 가볼게. 대도서에 다 간지 다는 다들 안 간지 다 사주요, 뭐 사주. 맞아도 그물이 된다. 대서 달아야 아니 전부 주문을 너무 치주 섬시와 근데 다 전부다 고섬 인증다 고섬 중도 고섬시를 해야 되는 다 빠져 그 작성을 했어. 다 되게 전부이도 전부 들어야 자랑이시고 그랬어. 참지랑 빠지니 되게 빠져주다 빠져는 그랬어.
There are 2 big of big?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
하고서
Yeah. The big of big has so big that it has 2 divisions.
전부라 자랑이시로.
빠져 치고 싶어.
빠져 전부. 빠져 전부다 가르구나. 전부다
나는 뭐라다? 하지만 고샤라.
하지만 주셔라.
하지만 주셔라.
주셔라.
하지만 주셔라. 다
빠져 쭉어라.
네.
빠져 쭉어다 다 빠져 단다.
나 이게 첨보들이라. 첨보는 니 차라.
니 차라. 다
나한테 때는 마지막에 나온다. 첨보 니네 때는 저거래. 첨보는 니 차라.
대장 마지막에 두세 말이. 당연히 빠져야 잘 주는 것을 내라고 됐더라. 빼나 다 사줘도 빠져 감좀 넣어라. 다 사줘가 빠져 그셔서 전부라 자라니시고 그랬어. 대전부 좀 자라니시네. 되게 라빠디 사통보거나 받침이라고 뭐가 말해서 사통보거나 받침이라고.
So now you're confused about the abandonments, right? So there are 9 abandonments. But then, so now there's, the great is the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then the great has 2. And
Yeah.
the great is
Yeah.
divided into 2, like the subtle and gross. So that which abandons the great gross, is the first ground.
Yeah.
And then the second ground, abandons the subtle great.
I can see that.
I think
Yeah, that sounds
I think you really got.
yeah.
가르치는 방송 빠져 쳐는 공사를 빠져 쳐는 빠져라 봐도 되는 거예요.
So first you abandon the gross ones, so the great ones or the gross ones.
아니 님부 줄은 다 님부 줄은 돼. 다 님부 담고 권한도 다 돼. 주충아. 되게 주체 들어가.
So antidotes, and you start with the small. The abandonments you start with the great, or the gross ones, and then the antidotes you start with the small, because the smaller, the greater it is, and more it can be abandoned.
그러니까 먼저 돌려고 잡아를 잡아 주로 돌려고 주도 그러고. 아니 잡아 박차처럼 아니 주도 주체 당하고 되는 거예요.
And so it's just like the dirt on the cloth, so the dirt on the cloth, if it's very obvious, strong, and then you can wash it easily. But as it becomes, subtler and subtler, then it's harder and harder to wash it.
오케이. 당을 틀린다. 다 제모라 잘하는 게 있으면 라빠디게 사도 못 거는 받치면 하고 이모 같은 말이야.
And so the of the great delusions, or the innate grasping at the true existence of the great, of the gross of the great, is abandoned by the first ground.
사도 때 고노를 다시 고노.
Of the first ground of the path of meditation, right?
다 잘봤어. 다 아니 참으되 산이백이 고노 받치면 되는 거예요.
And then is the small, or the subtle, great, is the abandonment of the uninterrupted part of the second ground. Uninterrupted part is part of meditation of second ground.
아니 링에 사스에 받치는 거예요.
And then the great, so the great medium, the great medium, is the abandonment of the uninterrupted part of meditation of the second ground. Third ground.
다 전부 중에 사실을 받치는 거.
And then the small great is the abandonment of the uninterrupted part, or the part of meditation of the fourth ground.
다 틀렸다는 따라 해도
Right?
Yeah.
근데
If you count it that way, does it fit?
셋
Yes, if it's that works.
다 링이 체크하는 거서 뭐 체크하는 거서 뭐 다 링이나 지주선이라 링이 전부터 상하와치 링이 사 두바치 링이 중사 돈바치 아니 중이 전부 사 제와치 중이 사 가와치 중이 중사 제와.
So now we're covered up to the fourth ground, right? So now the fifth ground abandons the medium great, right? And then the sixth ground, medium, seventh ground, medium, small, and then the eighth ground, the small great, and then the ninth ground, small medium, and then 10th ground abandons the small, the subtlest one.
그래서 당으로 사자하다 고치서 못.
So now you apply that, or we apply that to the 10 grounds, the 10 grounds to the 10 abandonments.
아니 근데 사제비 여자들이 중중도 가디 번안에 상지라고 그래요.
And so the uninterrupted path of the path of meditation of the 10th ground abandons the smallest of the smallest innate, grasping at true existence. And whenever that abandons it, then you achieve the state of full enlightenment.
오케이? 다 들으러 다들 나한테 지금 양자도 제다지 제다도 흉으로 서주는데 다 같이 팀 조탄으로 들으시더라고.
Yeah, so it's quite confusing to go through all these the meditative equipoise and subsequent attainments and so forth. So anyway, in general, it's like that.
시찬이 받침만 어디 사티가 받침만 넣어놓으면 사티기 받침만 해야지 넣어놓지 뭐라고.
And so if it is the uninterrupted part and the part of it is of that ground, first you generate the uninterrupted part of the ground, and then you generate the path of release of that ground.
옛날이야 단다 된데 저러면 저 라벨 차는 침묵 방향이 말하는데 산이가 나오는 그래서 다때 저러다 못다 되나 못한 거 그래.
그래서
나는 대사 사도 무거운 빠지면 하지 뭐까지 대사 차랑이 있다 라바지가 다 못해. 대빵에 나오는데 산이가 나오는 그래서 사도 무거운 말하는 말씀.
So the part of uninterrupted path and path of release, those go in a like kind of one after another, right? So path of uninterrupted path is the antidote, and then the path of release is the attainment, right? So you have abandoned that, so then you achieve the attainment of having abandoned that. So that's called the path of release. So in the first ground, the uninterrupted path of the first ground. Achieves first ground abandons that the gross great, right? The gross great, in it grasping that true existence, and so and then the path of release of having abandoned that is not of the first ground, it's of the second ground. So the path of release, the uninterrupted path is in the first ground, and then the path of release of abandoning that grows, the great gross growth, gross great, is in the second ground.
It doesn't sound great.
Guess that makes sense.
It's so hard
Guess
to
that makes
keep track.
sense.
No, gross great. Because what he's saying is the uninterrupted path and the path of release always happen in the same meditative session, right? So if you sit down, they call the uninterrupted path because as soon as you get that, whatever realization you're having there, you're certain to be released from whatever it's the antidote of. So the first one is the antidote of the gross great, right? This terminology is really annoying, but the gross great, if we can imagine that. And then the path of release means that you are released from the gross great. So now you are on to the next one already, the second ground. Right? So, and then you have to go into that uninterrupted path to get rid of the gross, or the subtle great. Yeah.
사투무 고노, 사투무 고노 받치는 니도 왔어. 사투무 고노 받치는 산이 받치는 니가 잘 왔어. 네, 뭐. 그런 거지. 대도 주민이 저보다 사투무 대신이 고노 받치는 어떠니? 대신 고노 받치는 니가 왔어. 근데 사투무 고노 받치는 산이 고노 받치는 니세. 네도. 대신이 고노 받치는 거나 사투무 고노 받치는 거나 산이be 고노 받치는 니가 왔어.
사슴에 고노 받치는 니야. 사슴에 고노 받치는 니야.
대고 샤는데 배잖아 그러니까. 네도. 그런 거지. 대도 현재 주민이 저보다 대신이 고노 받치는 중생이. 대조고노 받치는 중을라. 대조고노 받치는 중을라 사투무 고노 받치는 산이be 고노 받치는 니가 그래서. 그리고 and 대신이 고노 받치는 중제다 사슴이 받치는 된주래서.
So here you understand it, right? So in the definition of the smallest small uninterrupted path. So when we say the path, which is the antidote, right? Which is the antidote, and then the delusions, which are the abandonments, right? So the objects that is to be abandoned. So the delusions and the antidotes, right? So the delusion and the uninterrupted path. So the uninterrupted path, we start with small, and then goes up to the small great, and then small medium, and then small great, and then goes up to medium, small, medium great, like that. So the path, you go up from small to the great. But the delusions that are to be abandoned, you go from the great to the small. The great, in the sense, grows, because they are easier to understand, and easier to see, easier to abandon. And so you start from great to small, and grows to the subtle, and so here it is talking about the smallest of the small uninterrupted path, right? So it says the definition of the smallest small uninterrupted path of the Mahayana path of meditation is that which is an uninterrupted path of the Mahayana path of meditation, and which acts as an actual antidote to the great apprehension of true existence corresponding to it. So greatest great, right? And if divided, there are two. The first grounds uninterrupted path are the path of meditation, and the second grounds uninterrupted path of the path of meditation. So the smallest, the smallest of small uninterrupted path has two, right?
Yeah.
Of the first ground and then the second ground.
Yeah.
So that's what's talking about that.
방자들 전부 랑이 방고를 대를 돌아오시는 전부들 하니까 다사 동부.
The first ground is uninterrupted path is the path of meditation, and the second ground is uninterrupted path of meditation, right? And the middling small uninterrupted path of the Mahayana path of meditation is mutually inclusive with the third ground's uninterrupted path. The middling small. So the first one, the small is the first ground. Small middling. So the small middling small uninterrupted path is in the third ground, right? It's inclusive of the third ground's uninterrupted path.
You've got
Understand the
I
point?
think we need a chalkboard or a diagram or something.
The middling small uninterrupted path of the Mahayana path of meditation is inclusive of the third ground's uninterrupted path.
I think it's clear, basically.
it's difficult, but we can basically sit down that doesn't happen. That is 나도 제가 하고 그렇고 그랬죠. 나도 자살하지 까래 좀 주셔야 돼. 제대로는 나도 이게 재미가.
So it takes time, and you have to think, put a little bit more thought into it, and you will understand it. But if you just look at it like that, just do it once, maybe not easy to understand. But anyway, so this is what the monks in the monastery, who were studying philosophy, studied day and night like this.
Yeah, also, 딱 맞으면 딱 가서 뭐 제가 좀 데려서 제시하더라.
So anyway, we're very fortunate to be able to have this opportunity to study.
근데 저도 썸을 날 때는 지금 그래서 나 그냥 내려고 쉬었었고 지금 하나 지금 특히나 지금 너나한테 지금 곧 대하라고 말다.
So if you are able to think in a proper way and understand it, and then it will make sense to you. You'll be able to apply this to all of it. But if you don't understand it, then it will really get confusing.
예, 근데 이렇게 기가 어디지 다 되는 거 같네. 다뒤 이제는 다 되는 사초가 그냥 이런다는 거를 해서 주발해서 다들 당연히 그런다 지 말이니까.
So that reasoning can be applied to the others. So all the way up to the 10th bhumi, or 10th ground.
다 대전도 고난 여자시 강하지. 란다 여자 특별히 받침을 좀 못가지. 이 대전의 쪽에 대전이 지나면 대전이 고난 말하는 생이 다 대단한 거기에서.
And then now the second one is the path of release, right? So we talked about the path of uninterrupted path. Now let's talk about the path of release. So the definition of path of release of the Mahayana path of meditation is that which is an exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of Mahayana path of meditation, and which is a Mahayana subsequent clear realization, which has been released from the apprehension of true existence that corresponds to the uninterrupted path and produced in the same session of meditative equipoise as it is.
그래서 나 대전이 고난으로 주주마다 산이보다 대지했다. 대지 고난으로 당보다 산이보다 대지했어요.
And so this is when divided there are 9, the smallest of the part of release of the Mahayana path of meditation. It's inclusive, with the second grounds part of release of the part of meditation.
가진 여자 너로서 때 너도 간다 대대다 간다 딱 동반이 했던 거 양마시 안에 대대다 가디 빵이나 대빵을 빵하다 그게라 깨와 있나 안에 대빌로 뛰어야시 너는 뭘 발로 줘. 여자 양마시다 찍발했어 주래야.
So then in a single meditative session, they happen in one same session. So during the uninterrupted path, you apply the antidote, and then when you have with that antidote, when you have abandoned, then you achieve the path of release at the same session, during the same session.
그래? 어때시 되는 여자분이 제가 뭐라는지 되니? 얘는 뭐라는
So then that completes the explanation on the path of meditation. And the next one is the path of normal learning. So the definition of path of normal learning is the exalted noble that has abandoned the afflictive obstructions.
Okay? I think we stop, no more conclusion.
So when divided at three, the hero's path of normal learning and so forth. So now path of normal learning of heroes, path of normal learning of surpassing, and path of normal learning of Mahayana. So the exalted knower that has abandoned the afflictive obstruction of the hearers is the hearer's path of normal learning. And isn't that definition of the hearer's path of normal learning? The same applies same, to the sorted writers and the Mahayana.
다 가서 당연 가서 지기 왔어. 니들 다치면 또 와도 전화 통화됐다. 뭐라 해야 돼, 근데. 근데 틀리더라, 나 좀 많이 잘 본다. 뭐라 그래야 돼, 뭐라 그래야 돼. 니들 보면 이제 뭐라 하면 되겠어. 니들 보면 이제 뭐라 하면 되겠어. 그러라도. 니들 보면 제가 뭐라 하면 되겠지. 근데 다 니들 다치면 또 와서 왜 시아서 통화 받대? 통화대 니들 보면 이제 말해 왔어.
And so here it says the exalted knower that has abandoned afflictive obstructions, right? And so on the Mahayana path of accumulation, the person on the Mahayana path of accumulation who has preceded the ahalship of the hearers, and has an exalted knower that has abandoned afflictive obstruction, right? It has.
Yeah, should.
So therefore, it is a path of normal learning.
It has to be. This has to be the same as before.
Yeah.
We can say in a generic way.
얘들 보면 제발 다치면 되니까 거는. 근데 되니 따로 내가 나셔. 나도 손담아 시면은 얘들 보면 제발 다치면 되지는 다 되게 말했어.
전부 뭐라 된다 전부.
아,
나 전부 강사라.
일단 하고 있어.
개발 안 돼. 남자 샤워라.
얘들 보면 제발 말하면 되니. 얘들 보면 제발 다치면 되니.
다 지구가 다 되나시 땡기만 하셔. 다 전부에나 다 전부 스모크하고 와서 미러라면 스모크하고 와라. 딜란 마도 디가 와.
Question.
Right?
It's
Just like you said.
It says here even though. Nilob nam drachombe kiemba nam dunchik.
Huh?
It says.
다 전부 캠바.
Yeah, nilob nam drachombe kiemba
미러람다 다 전부 캠바든지.
dunchik. Yeah.
So no, here it says path of normal learning, right?
Yeah.
So
And
so now we're talking about earlier we talked about a person who is on the Mahayana part of, let's say, part of accumulation, right? Who has preceded the ahalship of the hearers.
yeah.
So he has exalted wisdom, the exalted knower that has abandoned afflictive emotions, right? Afflictive
Yeah.
obstruction, right?
Yes.
So is he on? Is he on the path of normal learning?
If it's dunchik, then
No. Is he on the path of normal learning? Is he or not?
This is why it's saying.
Is he on the path of normal learning? Not asking for explanation, just asking for yes or no.
I don't
No, right?
No.
Of course not, right?
Yeah,
But he has. It has to be yes because he has the exalted knower that has
That's right.
abandoned afflictive obstruction.
This is why I think the when we say on the path is a little bit misleading. So I mean, you can have the exalted wisdom of an arhat, which means it technically meets the definition of the path of no more learning
Yeah.
for an arhat. But once you enter the Mahayana, you can't technically be on a hearer's path. So it's impossible. It creates a paradox depending on how you think.
So this one is more confusing because you're on the path of accumulation right now, right? But then if you have an exalted knower that has abandoned the afflictive obstruction, then you have to say you have the path of normal learning.
Yeah.
So if you have path of normal learning, then you have to be in the path of normal learning.
What does Jinchik mean exactly?
It means they have the same meaning.
Synonym.
Ten means meaning, and chik means one. Same meaning.
Yeah, I understand the etymology.
Yeah, synonym.
Does it mean like absolutely the same?
Yeah. If it is this, it has to be this. If it is this, it has to be this. Like
Because they say like the lower
that.
request.
얘는 이제 맨날 있잖아요.
They say like low Rigpa and Sheva are Dinchik, right?
Yeah.
But
So
they
if,
are used differently sometimes, you know? People choose one over the other, so they have some slight, they are synonyms, like they're really close,
yeah,
but not exactly the same thing. So in the same way, I mean, I'm trying to just be great, you know, gracious to the
no,
text.
if there are synonyms, if they are mutually inclusive, like it says here, then it has to be exactly the same. Different name, just a different name.
So we're mainly debating our terminology.
That's why I'm not
Yes.
sure
I don't know.
Dinchik means exactly the same though.
Yeah.
I mean, it means it has the same meaning. And meaning is always have to do with somebody referring to something as
Yeah.
something.
So even the like, for example, we say impermanent, impermanence, and product.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they have a different name, but they are exactly the same.
yeah.
If it's a product, it has
Yeah.
to be impermanent.
This
If
is
it's
why
impermanent,
we
as a
Yeah.
so you know
But the
there isn't
but
anything.
there is a difference between the two words because although they share, they are synonyms, they share the same meaning, the use of the word creates a different image in the mind of the hearer. So, you know, to say someone is on a hearer's path of no more learning would be wrong to say that of a bodhisattva. They can't be on a hearer's path if they are a bodhisattva.
Definitely not.
But to say that they are an arhat or that they have, you know, the exalted wisdom of an arhat is correct actually. It doesn't seem like, that doesn't create an image in my mind that they can't be a bodhisattva. But saying that they're on
Part of
hearers,
noble learning.
yeah, hearers path
That's
of no more
different,
learning,
yeah.
you can, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, this definition of the path of no more learning, in the case of in the Mahayana path of no more learning, would be an exalted knower who's abandoned both obscurations, right? Both the afflictive and the
Yes.
cognitive.
Yes.
So, is that still correct?
어. 대신에 난 이거 네가 해 보자. 그냥 연립방으로 가대. 연립방에 쉐바라. 가라.
인터벌이 제가 말하는
연립방 쉐바라. 나는 대중교 밀어라고 내가 dim니방에 다 김바스로 왔어. dim니방 왔어. 대중이 밀어라. 연립방으로 나는 딩만 왔어. 연립방으로 쭉 나는 딩만 왔어. dim니방으로 나왔어.
다내 대시에 무슨 개입니다. 시당 여러분 이제 말하고
말하다들 참아 리더스 리더는 하던 대전 리더는 그렇죠.
다시 다 시접하면 이제 봐. 대신 빨리 대시하고 싶다. 시접하면 이제 봐. 대시면 어떻게 있어요?
Or you can just say the exalted knower that has abandoned obstruction to knowledge.
일단 뭐 두니만 이제 막
Obstruction to knowledge.
Right.
So if you say obstruction to knowledge, that's good enough. But you can also say both obstructions, obstruction, diluted obstruction and obstruction to knowledge.
So then here it seems like the definition is not correct, though. It's only correct
Yeah,
with regard to the first two paths, the here and solitary realizer, right, not the Mahayana, in
Mhm.
this definition here.
No, I
Is
see.
that right?
그래서 내가 택정했던 제안들었어. 밀러랑 미친이 시간 딩들었어. 밀러랑 지난 미친이 많았어. 또 내년 걸어보면서 나는
아, 두니만 전반 뭐죠?
나 지금 나 대전에 네가 알아.
Yeah, it doesn't say
일본 거라.
Tekchen. It just says Niloglam. It doesn't say Tekchen.
No, it applies to the Mahayana also.
But it's just not complete.
No,
But this
Mahayana.
is a generic definition, I think. It doesn't specify Mahayana in the definition.
Yeah, generic. So, if it is Mahayana, if it's a Mahayana path of noble learning, it is the exalted knower that has abandoned afflictive obstruction.
But not just
It
that.
has afflictive
That's not a
obstruction.
complete, that's not a complete
Yeah,
definition of the
Charles.
Mahayana path of.
But if you want the definition to suffice for all three, then you have to leave it the way he has it there. Because they haven't abandoned the
I'll
shadid
ask
on the
Geshe-la.
lower two, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
그래서 뭐
Can you read something?
뭐 하려고
다 대전 상임을 넣었을 것 같아. 대전은 난 연애적 플란시가 많았어, 되게 많았어. 시리방에서 많았어. 난 dim니 차고 왔어.
막 대에 샤워할 때 내가 시다 좀 생기러 왔어. 연접함이 가만하다 좀 잡았어.
So, here we're talking about the path of noble learning, right? So either it is a path of noble learning of the hearers, path of noble learning of Sotarada, or path of noble learning of the Mahayana. And so it's just talking about the path of noble learning. So if it is a path of noble learning of the Mahayana, and it is necessarily exalted knower that has abandoned afflictive obstruction. So it's okay. So it's generally in the path of normal learning is okay, but if you say Mahayana path of normal learning, then you might want to add obstruction to knowledge.
다 나도 가르쳐 도와주나. 다 뭐라고 다치면 되지 와. 데려가서 도와 싸고 넣어서
This?
뭐라고 다치면 되지라도 와.
맞아.
다 뭐라고 갈라. 다 대면서 다 라이면 나가고 와. 다치서 데려다 와서 그랬어.
So here it says the tenjidus, right?
되지 뭐라고 다치면
The path of accumulation, grounds of faith, compatible with the liberation and clear realization of doctrine are mutually inclusive. Path of preparation, branching of definite discrimination, compatible with the definite indiscrimination and clear realization of meaning are mutually inclusive. Path of seeing, clear realization of truth and an exalted knower in the continuum of one on the path of seeing are mutually inclusive. Path of meditation, subsequent clear realization and exalted knower of one on the path of meditation are mutually inclusive. Path of normal learning and exalted knower of an arhat are mutually inclusive. And then through this one should know the vehicles in use. Tadi kalada chino kas.
뭐라고 다치면 제가 되지라.
다치면 캐버라다. 와, tadi digo.
뭐라고 다치면 제가 되지라도 와. 이제 인자 다 이제 다치면 또 봐도 샤서 통화버지지. 답변도 별로 돼. 다 뭐라고 와.
밀어라 그랬어.
다 그거 다치면 제가 와.
네. 그냥 들으면 말했어.
다 뭐라고 좀 가고 거기. 다 뭐라고 대문들 나가야 내가 돼. 오고 말했어. 거기는 다 들으셔도 정말 대문들 나요 말이야. 그 대적 태워서는 그 고대 중도 왔어. 얘들 뭐 아장 나눠서 그 고대 중도 왔어. 얘는 다 그거 다주면 제마도 그 뭐라 말이야. 다그 뭐라 말이야. 그 요즘 몽골라고 보셔라. 너 세계 여행 왔어. 도사는 됐어.
So here when it says the path of number learning and the exalted knower and arhat are mutually inclusive. So again, it's the same, with the Bodhisattva, the path of accumulation, who have preceded the arhatship of the hearers, right? So he has the exalted knower of the arhat, right? He is the arhat, so he has the exalted knower of arhat, and so that means he also has the path of normal learning, right? So is he in the path of normal learning? But he still have a lot to learn, right? The Bodhisattva, the path of accumulation, who has preceded the arhatship of the hearers, has still a lot to learn. So how can he be on the path of normal learning, right?
He's not on the path of normal learning, but he has the realizations from that carried with him, but he's not on that path anymore. He's progressed further.
또 야들 그 때문에 달라고 말했어. 뭐라고 해서 다 때문에 달라고 그 된다고 봤어.
나 되게 밀어라 말했어. 그런데 야들 밀어라는 거 똑바로 못해서 그랬어.
내가 그 뭐라고 그래 봤어.
밀어라 그랬더니 야들 똑바로 야들
또도 그 뭐라고 그래 봤어.
그래.
일단 그 때문에 달라고 말했어.
야들 라고 말했어. 되게 라고 그래.
되고 그랬다. 대비는 도바사대 도바사. 다 니들 하나 내다 그래. 딱그 니들 말해서 니들 때문에 나오는 게 아니고 내놓으셔도 돼. 딱그 다주면 지마도 그 뭐라고 말했어. 딱그 니들 말하는 말이 도와주 말하는 말이 그때 도바 공사도 안 써도.
집어라 니들 그거 다좀 보라. 그거 다좀 보라. 그거 다좀 보라. 그거 다좀 사라.
다때 다주면
근데 집어라. 그거 다좀에 하라 그랬어. 다좀에 여봐라.
대고
그거 다좀에 하래. 그거 다좀에 하래.
집어라 돼.
집어자. 해나시를 당가서 밀어라 메인스나 밀어라 텐 야들 밀어라 마이스 그래서 오지.
근데 뭐라고 써야 돼? 간지 얘들 데려가고 뽕을 매야자. 얘들 다 얘들 데려가 쪼면 데리고 오는 거야. 네가 그 빠야를 얘들하고 얘들 제대로 좀 써야 돼. 다 데리고 줘. 근데 다 얘들 보면 데리고 바로 매와. 되는 거고.
So just like earlier we said that he is an arhat, but he's not an arhat of the heroes or social riders. So in the same way he has a path of normal learning, but it's not generically it's not a path of normal learning of the heroes or path of normal learning of the Mahayana. But he has so he still has a lot to learn, but he doesn't have any more to learn to abandon the deluded obstructions, because he has already abandoned the deluded obstruction. He has a lot to learn, but he doesn't have any more to learn to abandon deluded obstructions. You can say like that. So the fourth destroyer, the fourth that he has to destroy, is the deluded obstruction, right? And since he did that already, he has destroyed that deluded obstruction, therefore he can be the fourth destroyer. So so if we can separate it that way, then it can become clear. Otherwise, it can be a little bit confusing.
Okay.
Back when we talked about the 10 grounds and we labeled them like the stainless and the luminous and that, and then we had things that people on those grounds were able to do and not able to do as they were overcoming their afflictions. If we go back and relate everything we said tonight with that, will it muddy more waters or will it help?
들어가서 담보 가장 내려가는 데서 사담보 가서 나와도 그 리버티 말고 숨보 외쳐서 내려라. 나도 되게 대서만 나도 사고디 사고다도 가다 사고다 그래 또 봐도 방제 보도 저라. 그래서 파티나 자나는 데스테 내가 저기 대단히 영어 살고 있어.
참 민다도 집안에 가지 사통으로한테 가야 될 거는 사통 걸어 가시는 거 그래서 얘들이 이제 잘하는 날 앞에 이해 맞?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different name, right? You just apply name. So, like say, the first ground is called what? It's very joyous, right? So either you call it very joyous or the first ground. It's talking about the uninterrupted part of meditation of the first ground.
But there were specifics, what people, who are on those grounds, like,
Yes.
were able to tolerate suffering, or able to enter meditative equipoise easily and whatnot. Is that directly or indirectly related to that small and
다 사람 몰라 되는데 뭐 얘들 다 되는데 이거 거의 내내 서도 내내 제도 되죠. 근데 어디서도 파지 않나?
대잖아 다시 자자 대월마 가지고 사탕 몰라 되는 라데 가지는 거기도 제일 고지를 해요.
맞다. 되게 되는 것도 다 년 가서 되는 내제 생게 고 보셔야죠. 그다 팽그려 버렸어.
다시 대가는 고비에 대가는 마셔 걸어 왔대. 고비 마비로 봤어.
So I don't know, maybe it depends. It might even cause more confusion because then you are putting so many things together.
right?
So as the first ground you do this, first ground you have this, first ground, so you're putting so many information in one place, So that can create more confusion because you have too many things to remember.
Okay.
어다
Apologies.
Here.
A question just about the way, I think maybe it's how it's translated. They say innate apprehension of true existence.
Yes.
It seems to me like it means just the opposite of true in the sense of like a truth, but more that our delusion that there is something substantial and permanent about existence that you're releasing from. Is that understanding correct?
근데 팽개세요. 팽개세요. 대시게 어렸어.
아니 현재세대 먼저 끝다는 하신이 그래서 끝다세대 인생당 주시라 상담에 수치면서 끝다왔어. 현재는 다 나도 제일에 그대로 외워야 되죠. 좀다 전때 제일 보시면 많이 말고 전달할 때 있는 선생님들 아니 그다로 전때 제일 보시면 많이 봤다. 현재는 외워야 되는데 현재에서 따가로 맞아 샤시도 관계를 지켜라 되는 게 돼서 맞아 선생님이 거기에 와봐 나중에 상관이 이제 그 깨고 사실 남아고 지금 여와서
They each one, it's both the uninterrupted path and path of release. Use that same
So
translation.
when we talk about the delusions, we normally talk about intellectual and innate. So when anyway, so it can innate by itself it can mean different things, but in this context here, it means like when we say intellectual delusions that come because of some belief, because of some reason, because of some philosophy, belief, or because of some belief in the different tenets or thoughts, schools of thoughts. So one school of thought, it says, okay, things are all this way. So you study that, and then you come to believe that things are existing truly. Yeah. And because of that, you think it is truly existing. So that is intellectual. And so, but you don't have to have that. It's not necessary to have that thought. You don't have to have some studies, in order to have that belief. Yeah. Even just without any thought, like even the birds and the animals, you can have this thought, thinking it's truly existing. Yeah. It is there by itself, that kind of thought. Yeah. But on the other hand, it is somebody who taught you. So okay, because you study this school of thought, and there it says it is existing truly. So therefore, you think it is existing truly. That is intellectual. Yeah. But in reality, there is no true existing. Yeah. And so grasping as existing truly in any way, is wrong. So whether because you were taught something, because you believe, because you studied this school and this school is there, or you just think it is existing truly and naturally like that. So either way it's wrong. So the one way is if you think that because you study this school and that school says that, therefore that's called intellectual. Mm-hmm. And without that, if you just think it is existing truly, like the birds, the animals have that thought, that's called innate. So which is more difficult, to abandon. So in the first, during the part of seeing, you abandon all the intellectual ones. Yeah. And so during the part of meditation, in all these 9 garams or 10 grams, you abandon the innate ones.
Yeah. So when I look at it, when you say truly existent, it makes more sense to me.
Grasping it as, it should say as, like
right, so they say of true existence. I think it's just a subtlety of the translation.
Oh yes,
it's maybe confusing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I had understood it kind of the way you're saying. You said it more clearly. I hope.
True, yeah, so it's a different way of saying true existence or existence truly.
Oh, true existence, yeah. And so then each bhumi it's the same process of meditative equipoise on suchness, and then the clear realization of releasing from the grasping to the delusion of something that's the reality being truly existent. Mm-hmm. But each one's different, but you're meditating on slightly different aspects to kind of clear different obscurations. Is that it?
hausa. Jadi 다 배는 서당복에다 받침이는 줄아. 야 공제들 거 돈이 공부하라.
강강
공부하라. 그 산이버 받침이는 다 돈이 공부하라. 근데 다 될라 되는 테스트 개발하고 그래서. 근데 다 너들 이제 내들 행겨라 참아. 방자다 내들 행겨라. 될라 되는 테스트 개발해야 그래서. 그래서 니베 방향에 내들 행겼다. 선배 방향에 내들 행겼다.
대대에서 잘하고 했다. 이 빠도 스마니는 스마트 칼칼 차이です. 남양사 동물이 가지는 이빠들 난 그런 슈치하다. 맞체를.
또 잡아놔지려 맞어.
잡아놔지.
또 잡아버지 버지.
잡아버지 버지.
뭐 슈치하다.
슈치하다. 또
Yeah,
so
they are same being a wisdom realizing emptiness. They are wisdom realizing emptiness, but then more you realize, more you meditate on it, more stronger it becomes. And then greater it becomes, so then it becomes more powerful, to get rid of those the obstructions. Because the obstruction here in this case would be grasping a true existence, right? And so so that actually it's grasping a true existence itself, it's all same, but they're differentiated as a different level. Just like the dirt, if it's just a mud, it's more easy to wash away. But then when the mud leaves some stain, it's more difficult. And then to get rid of everything completely is even more difficult. So, but they're all same being the stain. So the same being a dirt. There's just the single small stain is also dirt. The big thick mud that was on the beginning there was also dirt. So, but the more you wash, cleaner it becomes. So just like that, more you meditate on emptiness, and then cleaner it becomes of that delusions or the obstructions.
디바로 식빵들로 산이백이 그런 것 빵들로 양여자들 제대로 되시면 좀 먹었어. 되게 동아리 냠마셔. 근데 시험받을 거디 meaningless non-insights on one was.
So subtler one are more difficult to abandon, and so during the let's say in the second bhumi, you abandon the certain level of the grasping, and then you come out of that meditation, and then which we call the subsequent attainment or post-meditative equipoise. So during that time, then you have to accumulate a lot of merit to be able to abandon the next level of the obstruction. And so these two have to go together, one after another. The two accumulation, the accumulation of merit and accumulation of wisdom. So during the meditative equipoise, you have the accumulation of wisdom, and during the post-meditative equipoise, there's the accumulation of merit. So it's the same, during the retreat, you're supposed to, when you're doing a meditation, a deity retreat, and then you're reciting the mantra of the deity, and also at the same time you generate yourself as the deity and so forth. And then, during the meditation, during the session, in the retreat session, you do that, but then there's a break, between the sessions, and you come out and then you read books or scriptures, and you make prostrations and so forth in order to understand, in order to purify all those obstructions or negativities that may prevent you from doing the practice well and so forth. So it's a very similar procedure.
Okay, now it's done. Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you.